Yeah, I look like shit. That's fine. I feel like shit. So if this video seems a little off, it's because it is. My makeup looks like crap. I wish this was tea, but it's actually Theraflu. And my Disney mug from the last time we went to Disney World in 2017. I have a cold, and I am very sad because my mom's cat passed away last night at home. We did not put her down. We were doing everything we could to save her, and unfortunately she passed away. And I'm the one who found her because I was giving her the medicine, and I went to go give her nightly medicine and she was gone, so I'm a little sad. My mom and I brought her into the vet today to be cremated, so she'll be back with us soon, about a week. But yeah, so if I seem a little off, it's because I am sick and I can't breathe, and a cat that I've had since I was 18 passed away, so. Oh my god, Theraflu is terrible. Okay. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should, because I talk about geeky things. It's Monday, so we're going to talk about Power Rangers Beast Morphers. This one was the third episode of season 2 called Game On, and it was actually a pretty good episode. As always, if you guys want to skip the full episode recap, you can do that by hitting this time code right here. This will bring you to just my thoughts on the episode itself if you guys are not interested in how I tell the story of the episode, which also kind of gives you an idea of how I feel about it as well, because I kind of intermittently throw opinions in there. So, but yeah, so if you don't care about how I tell the story of the episode, hit that timestamp and you guys will be brought to just my original thoughts about this episode. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. This episode opens up at the Riptide Gym, and the Rangers are all cheering on Devin as he is doing an esports championship, which I actually think honestly is kind of cool, because a lot of times whenever we would do championships, it would always be something actual sports versus esports. So I love the fact that they're throwing kind of a geeky thing into an episode. Anyway, I think it's really cool. So the championship begins, and Devin wishes luck to his competitor, and she's kind of a jerk and turns to him and says, "You're gonna need it." And so yeah, we have this bitchy competitor, which we actually don't learn the name of for a very long time, and her name is Carrie, and I only started writing that in my notes like halfway through. The game itself is actually kind of cool, and I want it to be in real life. It is holograms, and they come to life, and they fight each other in like real world. And what's even really cool is during that competition, which Devin's dad is there, one of the holograms runs into the judge, and his dad looks at Nate and asks the hologram to ran into the judge how the holograms are not like physical things. And that's when Nate explains that they use hard light technology, which was stolen straight out of Red Dwarf. And the only reason I think I would have picked it up even if I wasn't rewatching Red Dwarf right now, but I am rewatching Red Dwarf right now, and hard light is not something I ever heard about until Red Dwarf, and I don't think hard light holograms are a real thing, or like a real concept. So they stole that right from Red Dwarf, and it's fine. I mean, I don't care. I mean, steal it, that's fine, it's a cool concept. Just saying, stole it from Red Dwarf. Don't think that was a creative choice. Anyway, so Devin's, dad kind of gets an interesting idea. Of course, we all know Devin's dad is not Devin's dad, or he is Devin's dad and just possessed. We're not 100%, I mean, he is, I don't know, we'll get to it at the end. Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy show up, and, obviously we know that Devin's dad, when told them to attack, it's fine. Anyway, so Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy show up, everybody runs out of the gym, and the Rangers obviously stay and morph and fight Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy. Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy run out, and they actually end up stealing Carrie's console, and they turn the console into a Robotron named Gamertron, I think it was called, Gamatron, something like that, something similar to that. Anyway, Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy create the Robotron from the gaming console, and the Robotron is able to create hologram versions of the Power Rangers, of the original 3, of Devin, Ravi, and Zoe. So Devin, Ravi, and Zoe are fighting their clones, as Nate and Steel are fighting Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy. This is going to be a tough season with the Robo Blaze. Say that 10 times fast. Not even kidding. I am just going to start calling them just the Robos, okay? We're just going to say the Robos and just assume that I'm talking about Blaze and Roxy, the Robo Blaze and Roxy, after I say Robos, okay? Carrie is actually watching this fight, and she's the one who kind of comes up with the idea that they are using the technology from the game. And since she knows the game, and she specifically knows a glitch in the game or a bug in the game, she kind of gets an idea of how to defeat them. The Rangers end up retreating to regroup because these clones are just too much for them to handle, and so they regroup and leave, and that is when we see the bitchy competitor, Carrie, get this idea. While they are regrouping, Devin gets a phone call from the judge, and he goes to meet them. Carrie is already very upset over what is happening, and turns out because of the fact that her gaming console is gone and there was this attack, they were not going to do a rematch because she doesn't have a console, so Devin's gonna win by default. So Devin decides to be a nice guy, which honestly is probably the last thing I'd think about. I mean, I'm a nice person normally, but at the same time, like, if somebody does me wrong, I do not want to do them right. We're gonna move that light a little bit closer because Nova's going after it. So Devin ends up giving her one of his consoles because he happens to have another one. And she thinks that that's really nice of him because, you know, she ended up cheating, but we're going to get to that in just a second. This is when Ben and Betty make their first appearance in the episode, which I was really enjoying this episode until now. Ben and Betty decide to be funny. Betty ends up falling in love with a hologram dancer because they turn on this dancing game, and she ends up falling in love with this hologram dancer, which of course is a game sprite, so that's going to turn out well, and we'll talk more about that at the end. The Rangers are all back at the base, and Robbie's mother comes in and says, hey, there's this girl who wants to talk to the Rangers, so you guys are going to have to morph and go talk to her because she says she has some information to give you. And so they go, they're morphed, and Devin nearly loses his cool because it's the competitor from the game thing, from the gaming competition that is right there. And she's the one who kind of tells them how she basically cheated to win against Devin. So what I didn't mention was when they were fighting before Blaze and Roxy showed up, Devin's hologram froze and he couldn't figure out what was going on. He couldn't stop it. And she explained that if you hit the characters just in this particular way, the characters that you're fighting will freeze. And Devin realized that she cheated, and he kind of gives her a lecture on cheating and why that was so important. But this is what ends up humanizing this B-story villain, essentially, is the fact, and if you guys don't know what B story, A story, I've talked about this before. There's the main story, and then there's the B story, which is the other story that's being told throughout the course of the show. And Power Rangers generally does an A story and a B story. The civilian story is the B story. The morphed story is the A story. Anyway, so she's the B story villain. But this is when the B story villain gets to be humanized, which is essentially that she is so desperate to win because her brother needs surgery. And of course we get a sob story, and Devin feels bad because obviously he wants to win, but he wants to win selfishly. He doesn't want to win for somebody else, essentially. The Rangers go off to fight the Robotron and their clones. They end up being able to use the move to get the clones to freeze, and they're able to defeat the clones, and then right after that defeat the Robotron, which of course is when the Gigatron comes, as in all the episodes of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So there you go. I mean, it's just the normal pattern of Power Rangers because it's the normal pattern of Super Sentai, so. And I usually don't write a ton of notes between here and there because the fights they're fights. If something important happens, I write it down. But the Gigatron is destroyed, and there you go. So we open into the last scene with Ben and Betty with Betty's love interest, the hologram, where she's trying to get to know him like his favorite cookie. And of course, the hologram has no personality because it's a game. And so she realizes she's not really in love with him. She just doesn't want him to be around, and Ben ends up saving her from essentially this hologram forcing her to dance with him all the time. So there you go. Because if you haven't caught on yet, Ben and Betty are funny. Again, just in case their actors ever come across this video of any shape or form, I don't like the creation of the characters. I don't like the execution of the characters, but I think the actors are actually really good. I just don't think that they are well versed enough to play the kind of characters that they are playing, and that it's not their fault. That is the fault of the casting crew that put them into that position, and they did well with what they are able to do as very green actors. So just want to throw that disclaimer out there. That's all. This is when the rematch between Carrie and Devin begins, and Devin ends up winning the rematch, getting the trophy and getting the check for $5,000, which apparently is all you need for massive surgery. Devin, of course, she doesn't know he's the Red Ranger, but Devin decides to go and give her the check for the $5,000 to go and give that to Carrie, and said that somebody told him that she needs that money more than he does, and he's fine with just the trophy. Since he was trying to win for selfish means, just the fact he wanted to win, the fact that he was just excited to be part of this championship and he wanted to win, which is just as viable as needing to win for somebody else. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I think that that was really cool that they didn't make Devin decide to lose to her out of guilt. I'm glad that they still had him win, but we're going to talk more about how I feel about that in just a second. But yeah, so he gives her the money, and then his dad walks up to him. His dad walks up to him, and he begins to cough, and so he decides to walk out. Devin would have followed his father for coughing that much. I certainly would have been like, my dad is coughing a lot and he's walking off into, outside. I'm going to go find him and make sure he's okay. But Devin does not follow him because, we have to do the reveal of the fact that Evox is Devin's dad, because we didn't know that yet. Okay, so there you guys have it. That is episode 3 of season 2 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Game on. So let's talk about what I liked about it. I liked the messaging. The thing is, like I've said this many times, it all really kind of depends on how you tell the story. Now, granted, it was very in your face at one point during Devin's lecture, but I think in a kid's show, it is important to have at least that lecture moment. But the whole episode wasn't about the fact that Devin was losing to a cheater. It became something that was revealed later, and then it was kind of slowly integrated into the show. And plus it was about video games, which is huge. I mean, the video game thing became huge when I was a kid, because I was around, right around the time that Nintendo was created. The first Nintendo, the NES, came out. I think the year or two before I was born. I can't remember. When did the NES come out? I don't know. Hey Google, when did the NES come out in America?
1985.
The year before I was born. So yes, the NES was released in America the year before I was born. And so obviously gaming became such a big thing when I was a kid, and it's only just grown from there. So I think that that's such a cool concept, especially since obviously there are so many stories about kids playing these online games with people and swearing into their microphones. I don't know. But either way, I just think that it was kind of a cool concept, a kind of a cool story, and it wasn't as in your face as I think it was in your face enough that it got the point across to the kids watching, but it wasn't so in your face that it annoyed me, I guess, is the best way to put it. I liked the concept of the story. I also really liked how it ended, in the sense, like I said a little bit earlier, that they didn't make Devin lose. I mean, to make the main character lose is important as well, but the point wasn't for Devin to be humanized. It wasn't to get him to, realize that he's not the best or be okay with losing. There wasn't a lesson for Devin to learn. It was more of this lesson for this other girl to learn. So I'm glad they still had him win versus him getting like, oh, she deserves to win, I'm just gonna let her win. He still fought as hard as he could. He still won, and he still won well. And I just think that that was so cool that they did that. But then of course they just let him he just gave her the money, which I think was kind of a really good way of going about it. I really liked that. So I liked the whole basic concept of the episode. I thought it was really good. So let's see, what didn't I like? One of the things I wrote this down pretty early on in the episode, and that was essentially that for a Ranger team that we have secret identities for, they really don't care about what's going on around them. Now, granted, other Ranger seasons have done this as well, but really, like, it's always bothered me this season. Like, it doesn't seem to bother me in other seasons where we have secret identities where this happens, but it does bother me in this one for some reason. They just, when they're talking on their communicators or when they're about to morph, they don't look around like the original Rangers did. Like, they always were like, We good? We good? Okay. Or we good? We good? It's morphin' time. You know, they never really did anything like that. And I just think that that wasn't, I don't know. I just don't like it. For some reason, it really, really bothers me for this series, and I just don't like it. The Evox reveal is so underwhelming. And I think because they let us know so specifically prior to the season. Like I said last week, or was it the first episode? I don't remember which one I said it at, but they had him like not showing who the human version of him was, but we already knew who that was. And when you're trying to hide something from the audience, that's great to do it that way, to frame it that way. But they framed it in such a way, like it just in general, framing not just a frame, like not just a shot, but like framing an entire concept. They framed it as if we didn't know that Evox was Devin's dad. We have known this since the end of season 1. The reveal was so underwhelming because we knew so much. It would have been so much better if we just didn't know anything, or if there was some other form of the reveal. But I just feel like the reveal was super underwhelming, and I didn't appreciate it. I don't like it. And it's just really annoying. And Judd Lynn, I'm so glad you're not going to be part of season 28, because I really don't like you. I'm rewatching RPM right now, so I have to like you a little bit, but it's fine. So there you guys have it. That is episode 3 of season 2, Game On, and my thoughts on the episode. Let me know in the comments below what you guys felt about this episode. If you guys liked it, if you guys didn't like it, did you guys think the same things that I thought about this episode? Or do you guys have other feelings? Let me know in the comments below what your guys' feelings are. I am going to go and play The Sims and watch some RPM because I am sad, I am sick, and I don't want to make a video right now. So, I'll see you guys all next time. Bye. Nova. 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 So, and this is the video that I choose to edit live. It's fine. Just throwing that out there. So, Hasbro. I was about to say Saban. Fortunately, Hasbro's rating these episodes now. But, you know, Judd Lynn's still in charge. You know, not something that I would probably plan on doing ever. Nova. Hey, hey, no. You're such a pain. I love you, but you're a pain. Close the door, which is just my light. Okay, it's fine. We're gonna get through this together. This is the video that I'm editing live. Where was I? I don't even remember where it was. Oh, that's right. Okay.